Most men know how to spark emotional attraction, but very few understand how to transform that spark into sexual obsession. This is where female psychology gets fascinating, because what captures her heart isn't always what ignites her deepest desire. The truth is, women don't just fall for the man who makes them feel safe, they become obsessed with the man who awakens hidden layers of passion. She may smile at compliments, but it's the subtle triggers in her mind and body that make her crave you endlessly. And here's the secret: obsession isn't random. It can be created, nurtured, and intensified if you know the right psychological keys. When you understand these triggers, you stop being just another guy and start becoming the man she can't stop thinking about. It's not about chasing her, it's about flipping the switch inside her that makes her chase you. Most men will never figure this out, and that's why they're forgotten quickly. But the man who masters this psychology becomes unforgettable, etched into her mind, her fantasies, and her emotions. So, let's break down exactly how to turn emotional attraction into sexual obsession. 1. Build emotional safety first, then disrupt it. Every woman craves one thing before obsession can even begin: emotional safety. Without it, she will never fully open up. And without opening up, she can't get hooked. Think of emotional safety like the foundation of a house. If the foundation is weak, nothing solid can stand on it. When a woman feels you genuinely understand her, when she feels seen, heard, and accepted for who she is, her guard starts to come down. She begins to attach, not just emotionally, but biologically. Her brain releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone, which is nature's way of saying, trust this man. But here's the twist: safety alone will never lead to obsession. If all you give her is comfort, you'll become predictable, boring, and eventually invisible. She may like you, she may even care about you, but she will not desire you. Obsession lives in the balance between comfort and uncertainty. Once you've established emotional safety, you need to disrupt it just enough to keep her on edge. Not in a toxic way, but in a way that makes her constantly question, what is he thinking? What's he going to do next? That blend of security and mystery is the recipe for sexual obsession. Psychologically, this taps into the intermittent reward system. Her brain becomes addicted to your unpredictability because she never knows when the next high is coming. One moment, you're deeply present, making her feel like the only woman in the world. The next moment, you're focused on your mission, your goals, and you let her crave your attention. This push and pull dynamic creates a tension that keeps her emotionally engaged and sexually drawn in. Most men fail here because they go to extremes. Some men are too safe, always available, always agreeable, so they kill the mystery. Others lean too heavily into unpredictability, becoming unreliable or cold, which destroys trust. The secret is mastering the balance. Give her just enough emotional safety to feel connected, then introduce subtle uncertainty that awakens her primal curiosity. When you do this right, her emotional attraction transforms into obsession, because now she doesn't just feel safe with you, she feels addicted to figuring you out. And once she's addicted, you stop being an option. You become the one man she can't get out of her head. 2. Trigger her imagination through emotional teasing. Obsession doesn't come from what a woman already knows about you. It comes from what she can't stop imagining. Female psychology thrives on anticipation, curiosity, and unanswered questions. When you tell her everything, when you lay out all your cards too soon, you kill the mystery that fuels her desire. But when you tease her mind emotionally, you plant seeds that grow into daydreams, fantasies, and yes, obsession. Think of it this way: attraction is logical, but obsession is emotional. It's not built on facts, but on the unknown. When you say things that spark curiosity, without fully explaining, you give her mental hooks to grab onto. For example, a man who casually says, "You have no idea what I'd do if I really wanted to get your attention," and then changes the subject, leaves her replaying that sentence over and over in her head. That little tease triggers her imagination to fill in the blanks, and her imagination will always make it 10 times more powerful than reality. This works because the female brain is naturally wired to seek meaning and connect patterns. When you deliberately leave gaps, she can't help but try to close them. She starts wondering what you meant, why you said it, and what you're holding back. That's how obsession begins. She's not just attracted to you, She's mentally engaged with you even when you're not around. But here's the key: teasing should be playful, not manipulative. It's about creating light tension, not emotional damage. Think of it like flirting with her emotions. Compliment her, but then flip it into something unexpected. For example, you're dangerous when you smile like that. You might get away with anything. It's playful, mysterious, and it makes her wonder what's going on in your head. Most men think obsession comes from more attention, more reassurance, more affection. But the opposite is true. Obsession comes from selective attention, knowing when to give and when to hold back. When you trigger her imagination with emotional teasing, you create an addictive loop. She starts thinking about you at night, replaying your words, wondering what you really mean. And the more she thinks, the deeper her obsession grows. When you become the man who controls her imagination, you automatically become the man she can't stop craving. 3. The power of emotional contrast. If you want to turn attraction into obsession, you have to understand one of the deepest psychological triggers: contrast. Human beings don't remember normal. They remember extremes: the highs and lows, the light and dark, the safe and dangerous. For women, emotional contrast is intoxicating because it makes the relationship feel alive, unpredictable, and unforgettable. Think about it. If you're always sweet, always calm, always agreeable, she'll eventually take you for granted. On the flip side, if you're always intense, always dominant, always challenging, she'll burn out and feel drained. But when you give her both sides, warmth mixed with intensity, playfulness mixed with seriousness, you create a roller coaster of emotions that her brain can't ignore. That roller coaster is what turns a crush into an obsession. Why does this work? Because the female brain releases more dopamine when rewards are inconsistent and surprising. If she always knows how you'll react, there's no thrill. But if sometimes you're playful and teasing, and other times you're focused and commanding, she never knows what's coming next. That unpredictability makes every interaction feel fresh, alive, and addictive. You become the emotional high she keeps coming back for. Imagine this. One day, you're deeply attentive, asking her about her dreams, holding eye contact that makes her feel exposed. The next day, you're less available, focused on your mission, giving her short but powerful attention when she least expects it. This contrast keeps her chasing because now she feels the loss when your attention isn't there and the euphoria when it returns. That cycle of loss and reward wires her brain to crave you. Most men misunderstand this and think contrast means playing hot and cold games. But it's not about manipulation. It's about authenticity. Show her your different layers. The man who can protect her, but also challenge her. The man who can make her laugh until her stomach hurts, but also make her heart race with intensity. When she experiences both, she never feels bored. Instead, she feels hooked. Emotional contrast makes her feel like she's living a story with you, not just a routine. And stories create obsession. Because once you're the leading man in the drama running inside her head, she won't be able to replace you with anyone else. 4. Create sexual tension without physical touch. One of the biggest mistakes men make is thinking obsession comes from physical escalation alone. Yes, touch is powerful, but true sexual obsession begins before a single finger is laid on her. It starts in the mind, with unspoken energy, eye contact, and the art of creating tension that lingers in the air. If she feels that pull toward you without you even touching her, then you've already won half the battle. Sexual tension is about suggestion, not action. It's the way you hold eye contact a second longer than normal. It's the pause you leave after a compliment, making her wonder if you're about to say something more daring. It's standing close enough for her to feel your presence, but not closing the gap. These micro moments build a charge that her brain interprets as desire, and that's what makes her imagination run wild. Remember, her imagination will always be more powerful than anything physical. When you master this, you tap into a deep psychological truth. Women value anticipation more than instant gratification. If you give her everything up front, constant compliments, nonstop attention, immediate physical moves, you satisfy her curiosity, but you don't build obsession. Obsession comes from withholding just enough to keep her craving more. You let her feel the spark, but you don't fully ignite the fire. That restraint makes you appear in control, which is massively attractive. Think about the way movies build tension before a kiss. The silence, the closeness, the subtle teasing. It's the delay that makes the payoff unforgettable. You can do the same in real life by learning to enjoy the tension instead of rushing past it. A subtle smirk, a half finished sentence, a playful withdrawal when she expects closeness. These are the moves that make her body and mind addicted to your presence. Most men fail here because they either give too much too soon or they avoid tension altogether. But when you learn to thrive in the in between, you become unforgettable. She won't just feel attracted, she'll feel haunted by your energy. And when a woman feels that kind of tension with you, she doesn't just want you, she needs you. That's the difference between attraction and obsession. 5. Become the source of both comfort and challenge. A man who wants to turn emotional attraction into sexual obsession must understand this paradox. Women crave both comfort and challenge, and they want them from the same man. Comfort makes her feel safe, valued, and emotionally connected. Challenge keeps her excited, intrigued, and striving for your approval. When you embody both, you become the emotional storm she can't escape. Comfort without challenge makes you predictable. She'll label you as nice but never crave you. Challenge without comfort makes you stressful. She may feel drawn in the short term, but eventually she'll burn out and walk away. But when you blend the two, you become magnetic. She never feels fully secure because you push her to grow, tease her boundaries, and make her question herself, but she never feels abandoned either because she knows deep down you're there for her. That mix wires her brain to keep chasing your validation. This works because women psychologically tie their emotions to effort. If she has to work for your approval, if she feels like she's always earning your attention, she values it 10 times more. Think about it. When someone gives you something for free, you appreciate it lightly. But when you sweat, sacrifice, and earn it, you treasure it. That's how her brain works with attraction. Your attention becomes priceless when she feels she's had to earn it. For example, you can show comfort by being emotionally present when she's vulnerable, listening deeply, reassuring her, showing loyalty. But you add challenge by never being a pushover. You hold your frame, you call her out playfully, you demand respect. When she tries to test your boundaries instead of folding, you smile and stand firm. That contrast makes her feel both safe in your presence and excited by your strength. Over time, this balance conditions her to see you as irreplaceable. You're not just another guy who flatters her or gives her attention. You're the man who makes her laugh, makes her think, makes her feel safe, but also makes her work, stretch, and prove herself. That emotional workout is addictive. It keeps her mind, body, and heart locked onto you, unable to look away. And once you master being both her comfort and her challenge, she won't just be attracted, she'll be obsessed. Because in her world, no other man can give her both at once. 6. Make her associate desire. With your presence. Obsession is not just about how a woman feels when you're with her, it's about how she feels when you're gone. The real secret is creating an emotional and psychological link in her mind so that every time she thinks of desire, excitement, and passion, she automatically connects it to you. This is how you stop being just a man she likes and start being the trigger for her sexual craving. The female brain works through associative memory. That means emotions, experiences, and sensations get tied together. If you can make her feel a rush of excitement when she's around you, whether through laughter, deep conversations, subtle tension, or adventurous moments, her mind will begin to link you with those highs. Over time, the very thought of you will ignite that same rush, even when you're not around. That's how you occupy her mind 24/7. This is why it's not enough to just be there or show interest. You need to craft moments that stand out. Think of situations where she laughs so hard her guard drops, or moments where silence between you feels so charged it could break into passion any second. These are not just memories, they're emotional anchors. And once anchored, they replay in her head like a loop she can't turn off. But here's the trick. You can't flood her with these moments nonstop. If you do, they lose their power. Instead, you create spikes of intensity. short, unforgettable highs, followed by space. This space allows her brain to replay, relive, and amplify the experience in her imagination. And imagination, as we know, is far stronger than reality. That's why she'll start craving you more when you're not texting, when you're not calling, when you're living your own life. The silence forces her to fill in the blanks with thoughts of you. Most men make the mistake of being too available, which kills the mystery, or too distant, which kills the connection. The sweet spot is this: give her highs she can't find anywhere else, then step back just enough for her to miss it. The more she misses it, the more she chases you. The more she chases, the deeper her obsession grows. When you become the man her mind automatically associates with passion, she won't just want you, she'll crave you like an addiction. 7. Master the art of emotional withdrawal. The final step in turning attraction into obsession lies in something most men fear: pulling back. Obsession is born not in the moments when she has you completely, but in the moments when she feels your absence. Emotional withdrawal is one of the most powerful psychological tools because it forces her to confront just how much space you occupy in her mind. When you're always present, always giving attention, always available, she gets used to you. You become normal. And normal is the enemy of obsession. But when you deliberately create moments of distance, when you stop calling as often, when you let her wonder where your attention is, when you let silence stretch a little longer than usual, her brain goes into overdrive. She starts replaying your last interaction, analyzing your words, and questioning why you've shifted. That uncertainty is what turns curiosity into obsession. Now, this doesn't mean ignoring her or playing cold games. It's not about punishment. It's about creating space for desire to breathe. Think of it like fire. If you smother a fire with too much wood all at once, it dies. But if you feed it, then step back, then feed it again, it roars stronger. Emotional withdrawal works the same way. You give her moments of deep presence, intensity, and connection, then you step back. That space makes her hunger for the next high. Psychologically, this taps into the loss aversion principle. Humans feel the pain of losing something twice as strongly as the pleasure of gaining it. When she feels even a hint of losing your attention, she clings harder. Suddenly, your validation becomes the most valuable currency in her world. She starts investing more, chasing more, craving more, because the thought of losing you terrifies her. Most men sabotage themselves by either never withdrawing or withdrawing too harshly. The key is balance. Give her enough to feel secure, then step back just enough for her to miss you. Done correctly, this creates a cycle where she constantly pursues your presence. That pursuit is the fuel of obsession. When you master the art of emotional withdrawal, you stop being the man she merely likes. You become the man her mind won't let her forget, the one she thinks about when she wakes up, the one she dreams about at night. That's when emotional attraction fully transforms into sexual obsession. At the end of the day, most men settle for being liked. They win a woman's attention, they get her attraction, maybe even her affection, but they stop there. They never figure out how to push past the surface into the level where she's not just interested, but consumed. That's because obsession isn't about looks, money, or sweet words. It's about understanding the hidden switches in female psychology and learning how to flip them. When you build emotional safety, she lets her guard down. When you tease her imagination, she starts thinking about you when you're not around. When you create emotional contrast, she feels alive and hooked to the highs and lows you bring. When you stir sexual tension without touch, her body and mind start craving you in silence. When you balance comfort with challenge, she sees you as both her safe place and her thrill. When you make her associate desire with your presence, she wires her brain to link you with passion. And finally, when you practice emotional withdrawal, you transform from being just a man she likes to the man she fears losing. And that fear cements her obsession. It's not about manipulation, it's about mastery. Mastery of yourself, mastery of your energy, and mastery of the way you interact with her psychology. Most men chase women with desperation, thinking more effort will make her want them. But obsession doesn't come from chasing, it comes from creating space for her to chase you. It comes from being the man who is rare, the man who is unpredictable, the man who awakens emotions other men can't. The truth is, Obsession is simply attraction magnified. It's attraction mixed with uncertainty, anticipation, and emotional depth. And the man who can provide that mix becomes unforgettable. He's not the one she occasionally thinks about. He's the one who lives in her head rent free. So the choice is yours. Stay ordinary and settle for being liked, or step into this deeper game and become the man who doesn't just win her attraction, but her obsession. Because once you understand these psychological triggers, you don't just capture her attention, you own her desire.